Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. We'll be talking everything Denver sports and beyond. Please like and subscribe if you are a sports fan like me. Let's do this. Welcome into the Sharp Sports YouTube podcast. My name is Andrew Sharp. Well, the Denver Nuggets fall in Game 7 in Oklahoma City in a game that was competitive for about a quarter and a half. But the Nuggets fall 125-93 in a blowout loss, Game 7, to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder were just too much talent, too many defenders to throw at Nikola Jokic, including Alex Caruso, who, for a smaller man than Nikola Jokic, certainly gave Jokic fits throughout this entire series, and it was definitely one of the best in-series adjustments and moves that marked out in all the Oklahoma City Thunder head coach made during this series. But the Nuggets just don't have the depth. Oklahoma City goes 9-10 deep, where the Nuggets go 6 at best, and Russell Westbrook's a wild card. Peyton Watson's okay, but not good enough. And the rest remain, quite frankly, anonymous. So, Nuggets have a lot to figure out this offseason. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Before I do, I wanted to talk a little bit about how the Nuggets, unfortunately, they've had kind of a mixed bag in these playoffs. And I would say the true Nikola Jokic era, where he was emerging as the best player on the team and starting to win league awards such as the MVP. And this goes all the way back to the bubble, where I really felt like the Nuggets made their first sort of playoff push of significance, in which they went to the Western Conference Finals against the eventual champion Lakers, losing 4-1, unfortunately, in that conference final, after overcoming a 3-1 deficit against the Clippers in the previous round. 2021 lost 4-0 in the conference semifinals to the Phoenix Suns, who eventually did win the Western Conference, did not win the NBA title. 2022 lost 4-1 to the Golden State Warriors, the eventual NBA champion. So 2 of the 3 years in there, they did lose to the eventual NBA champion in the Lakers and the Warriors. 2023, all the way to the finals, 16-4 in the playoffs, beat the Miami Heat 4-1 on the way to an NBA title. 2024, lost 4-3 in 7 games at home, blowing a 20-point lead to the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think this was really the beginning of the end for Michael Malone, certainly with ownership. And quite frankly, if Nikola Jokic, I hate to say this, if Nikola Jokic never wins another NBA title while he's playing in Denver, that will be the team and the series that they'll look back on and wish that they had seen what might have been. It would have been an uphill battle against the Boston Celtics, and nothing was given in the Western Conference Finals against the Dallas Mavericks. But that's one they really would love to have back. And of course, this year losing in the Western semifinals against the Oklahoma City Thunder, probably going to be your 2025 NBA champion. So in 3 of the 6 losses, they have lost to the eventual title team. 2 conference finals appearances in 6 years, including this year. 2 total, 1 NBA title, 2 semifinals, and 1 first round exit. Good, not great. I would argue that, especially last year, would give them at least 1 more conference finals appearance, possibly an NBA finals appearance, possibly an NBA title. But it's too late to worry about that now. And the Nuggets are going to have a lot of questions to answer in the 2025 offseason. Leading into this offseason, Nuggets ownership and Josh Kroenke, have a lot to figure out. And whoever ends up being this new general manager, whether it's in-house or out-of-house, is going to have their work cut out for them. Because the Denver Nuggets, I still believe in their championship core four, which would be Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray. Unfortunately, he is one of their core players because of his contract, Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon. There has been much discussion of moving or trading Jamal Murray or Michael Porter. Michael Porter, perhaps, and a lot of crazy NBA trades have happened. But a lot of those crazy NBA trades have happened under the previous collective bargaining agreement. This current collective bargaining agreement, you literally have to trade dollar for dollar. So if you want to trade a certain player, he has to make within a couple $100,000 the amount of salary for the other players. And given that Michael Porter Jr. For next year, 25-26, is going to be making $38.3 million, it's going to make him excessively hard to move. Also given his injury history. Jamal Murray's actually even trickier because his contract extension will kick in after this season. It finally kicks in. He will be making $46.3 million. And yes, it's a lot of money. I understand all that. When we talk NBA contracts, it's monopoly money. But we're in a monopoly league. This is the league we're in. And you have to believe that some team thinks that they're a piece away, or that Jamal Murray has extreme value. A guy who's come in to the Olympics out of shape, a guy who essentially told the Denver media to buzz off and has told fans it's none of their business whether he's in shape or not. So this is what you get. I really think the Nuggets, unfortunately for Nikola Jokic, are a bit stuck with what they have, given the contracts that were given out, especially under the previous general manager, Calvin Booth, who's no longer here. The Nuggets are kind of stuck. Now, I'm not an NBA general manager, wouldn't pretend to be. And I would applaud them for being creative, trying anything that might work. But I think they're going to run into some difficulty moving some of these guys. The other piece of it, the reason why Calvin Booth is no longer here, is, for instance, a guy like Zeke Naji. Still only 24. He's making $8.1 million next year. He didn't see the floor in Game 7. Dario Saric, a very journeyman career at best, got a 2-year deal with the Nuggets. He has a player option for $5.4 million. In the words of Ryan Russillo, who I love tremendously as a podcaster, I think he's going to pick that up. Russell Westbrook, $3.4 million next year. I'm good with it. Russ seems to be happy here. I don't think that he would get a better offer given his age. So my guess is Russ is going to pick up that $3.4 million. So they're stuck with that. Christian Brown does have a team option for $4.9. I saw some articles and some chatter about Christian Brown possibly being a trade piece. I would agree with that. No offense to him whatsoever. He is improving, but he is still the weakest link of that core of the starting five on the Denver Nuggets. It's just a fact. It's nothing against him. He's just the youngest, least experienced guy. And he's definitely the least talented. In my opinion, he's the least talented. But I saw some, not to get sidelined on that, I saw some discussion that he is looking for a new deal that would pay him upwards of $30 million per year. Christian Brown is not worth $30 million in the NBA. I know that it gets real funny with the money, but at some point you have to say no, because now the Nuggets are in for 25-26 at $199 million. Salary cap will go up, but the salary cap will be around $200 million. So they're already up against it. They do not want to be a second apron team, meaning that they have gone over the cap couple years in a row, and then you get what's called the repeater tax. For those who don't know, it's a little complicated, but I'll make it very simple. Basically, if you go over the salary cap more than 1 year, it becomes extremely punitive. And not that the Cronkies are looking for welfare checks anytime soon, but at a certain point, that cost becomes unbearable, and there's nothing you can do about that. Some of the other guys on the team, Juwan Holmes is a rookie who didn't play this year. I don't know what he is. Nobody knows what he is. He's 22. If he comes in and does what the Nuggets hoped that he would do when he was drafted, that's great. But in saying all this, the Nuggets have very limited flexibility in terms of who they can bring in to supplement this bench and this roster. It's quite unfortunate. And if I had a little crystal ball, I would say, unfortunately, the Nuggets are going to be stuck at least for another year in kind of a good enough to win, good enough to get a top 5 or 6 or even 4 slot in the Western Conference next year. But their lack of depth will continue to hurt them in the playoffs because it's just such a grind. You have to have some sort of bench to survive and advance in the NBA playoffs. In saying all this, I'm not trying to be explicitly negative about the Nuggets, but unfortunately this is where they're at right now in the NBA world. They're very talented. They have the best player in the world, despite the fact that he did not win the NBA MVP, which was just announced for SGA of the Oklahoma City Thunder today. Nikola Jokic certainly was worthy of that award, but he did not win it, probably mostly due to voter fatigue. Also, the Oklahoma City Thunder had an exceptional winning season and continue in the playoffs. I have no basis for this, only as a gut feeling, having watched sports, having listened to plenty of Nikola Jokic's interviews. He was clearly quite frustrated at his end of season presser. My guess is he's having a great time in Serbia. But looking at Nikola Jokic, 24-25, right this year, he's under contract. He's making $55 million in 25-26, $59 in 26-27, and a whopping $62.8 in 27-28 now. Nikola Jokic is kind of a different cat. He likes his privacy. He doesn't hang out here in Denver much in the offseason. He goes back to his home country. I don't think that he would be the type that would ask for a trade. But at this point, if he did, A, I wouldn't blame him. And B, I wouldn't be completely shocked. It would be a big shock to the talking point of the NBA because it would probably be one of the most massive trades in NBA history for a star of his magnitude to ask out of Denver. But I think, as a few have said around town, the end is sooner and quicker than it might appear. Another theory that I have, completely based on my own observations, is that he also might be too nice of a guy, despite his unhappiness with how the season went and some of the way things have gone. He may not ask out, but I would say he's guaranteed a total of $165.6 million over the next 4 years. Nikola does not strike me as a man who is frivolous with money. That is a lot of money. I don't care who you are. And at a certain point, he will be 30, he'd be right around 34, 35. I think that might be it. I think he might ride off into the sunset after that $62.8 million season. Essentially, it would be maybe a secret, maybe not a secret, that would be his last year in the NBA. But we're talking about a guy who has other interests outside of basketball. Has made it clear that he will not live in the U.S. long term. And he's just a different guy. He's got his ring. He's certainly got his money. And I would not be surprised if Nikola Jokic hangs it up in the end of the 2028 season, 3 years from now. Would not surprise me at all. Anyways, don't mean to be ending on the negative note, but it's not so much negative because if that happens, the Denver Nuggets have essentially 3 years to go all in and possibly win Nikola Jokic another title here in Denver, which would be amazing. But the time is now. The time is now. Whoever they hire as the general manager, draft and develop maybe later. Right now, all in, Nikola Jokic for the next 3 years, and then see where you're at. Anyway, it's just a little reaction pod. Sorry to see the Nuggets season end. I appreciate everyone who's tuned in during this postseason journey. I'm certainly planning on doing a bit more Nuggets scattered in. It just is a little harder sometimes with the football season never stops and gets quite busy. But I appreciate you tuning in. Once again, my name is Andrew Sharp, Sharp Sports 82 YouTube podcast. Sorry to see the Nuggets season end, but I'll be back on this channel talking a lot of things sports and maybe even a little NBA Finals once we figure out who is playing there. Thanks again for tuning in.